West African nations Niger, Mali and Burkina Faso have announced they are leaving the regional economic bloc ECOWAS. Their military rulers issued a joint statement live on television calling the bloc's sanctions against them inhumane. They were implemented after coups overthrew the three countries' democratic governments. All three countries were founding members of ECOWAS in 1975. TW correspondent Olisa Chukuma in Lagos is standing by for more. Does this come as a surprise to you?
Well, Nicole, actually, it doesn't. The tensions between these three countries and ECOWAS in the last years and months have been really fraught, particularly that for Niger, following that coup that happened almost 6 months now in July 2023. So maybe many might say it's only time that these three countries just pull out, as Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. Now, don't forget, these three countries already formed what many call their own mini bloc after more like a Sahel alliance for them announced that late last year. And this came on the heels of the tensions between ECOWAS and Niger. Mali, we know, is supposed to be in the transition now. Some sort of calendar with ECOWAS, but that has not come to any fruition. And so to Burkina Faso. Now, these were countries that had their coups even before last year's with Niger. So no surprise that this is the move now coming from three countries.
And what consequences is this going to have for ECOWAS?
It's a big blow to ECOWAS, that's for sure, because it does mean that the negotiations, the much talked about negotiations between these countries and ECOWAS clearly has not come to light. In fact, it means that they've gone backwards. It means that maybe ECOWAS insisting that a return to democracy might not come, will not be coming anytime soon, certainly not in 2024, certainly not in terms of the transitional systems or elections to come in these countries. That's not going to be happening. And eyebrows will then be raised about the perhaps methods used by ECOWAS in negotiating with these three countries. So that is the big blow for ECOWAS now.
Olisa, all three countries are former French colonies and are currently under military rule. They are also growing closer and closer with Russia. What role do you think could this have played in the decision to leave the bloc?
Well, with or without Russia, Nicole, these three countries clearly had solidarity, especially after ECOWAS announced huge sanctions on Niger. Yes, they have been courting friendliness with Russia, particularly Burkina Faso, who have lots of contracts to build industrial, plants in the country. So without even the Russian influence, you thought that with the way ECOWAS and these three countries have had these really fraught relations, was only a matter of time before they look elsewhere, and Russia clearly is an option for them.
DW's Olisa Chukuma.
Mali and Niger have announced their exit from the ECOWAS community of West African states. The Sahel countries issued a joint statement where they alleged that the West African bloc is influenced by foreign powers against the principles of its founding fathers. The ECOWAS Commission, on the other hand, says it has not received any official information to that effect and is also monitoring events in these countries. Well, our foreign affairs correspondent, Moyo Thomas, has details in this report.
The military-led government of Niger announced on its national television a joint decision with Mali and Burkina Faso to pull out of ECOWAS. It may not come as a surprise to many that these three French-speaking West African countries have decided to pull out of the regional body. The three countries have continued the alliance of Sahel states, including signing a joint pact to help one another against external aggression. This is from fear of ECOWAS threats to use military force where necessary. The regional body and indeed other international organizations have continued to condemn the disruption of democracy in these countries with stiff sanctions. The sanctions have taken a toll on not just the economy of their countries, but also their living conditions. Financial aid from countries like the United States have been halted, with their assets in ECOWAS frozen. School children in Niger, for example, have not been able to attend classes, and electricity from Nigeria has been cut, putting about 70% of Niger in darkness. All these pressures, including diplomatic negotiation, is to ensure a return to democracy. This decision by Niger may not be unconnected to the inability of the ECOWAS Presidential Task Force team to meet up with a scheduled meeting in Niamey on the 25th of January. A communique from the ECOWAS Commission says the team could not travel due to technical issues on the chartered aircraft. Though the junta spokesman says the decision to sever ties with ECOWAS was due to the inability of the regional body to help in the fight against terrorism and insecurity. The joint statement by the three countries partly reads, after 49 years, the valiant people of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger regretfully and with great disappointment observe that the ECOWAS organization has drifted from the ideals of its founding fathers and the spirit of Pan-Africanism. ECOWAS founding fathers set up the regional body on the 28th of May 1975 to achieve economic integration. The military takeover in 4 of the 15 member states has been regarded by many as a setback for the region. The pullout of these countries could further affect the aim of the regional body in meeting free movement and integration ECOWAS was set up to achieve. It is important to note that Article 91 of the revised ECOWAS Treaty of 1993 says, any member wishing to withdraw from the community shall give to the Executive Secretary 1 year notice in writing, who shall inform the member state thereof. At the expiration of this period, if such notice is not withdrawn, such a state shall cease to be a member of the community. Considering the current suspended state of these 3 Sahel countries and the non-fulfillment of their financial responsibilities and other obligations to the regional body since their suspension, it is not clear if they have a right to withdraw from the regional body. The only Arab-speaking member of the body, Mauritania, that pulled out in year 2000 followed this procedure laid out in the treaty. 4 countries are currently under suspension by ECOWAS. They are Guinea, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger. As the world awaits the next line of action from ECOWAS, especially ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government, it is important to note that this decision or this next line of action will, to a very large extent, determine the strength, capacity, and sustainability of the regional bloc. Muya Thomas, TVC News, Abuja.